What makes a premium brand a premium brand? Well, I'm going to explain in this video. A lot of things to do with what makes a premium brand premium is value perception. People perceive an item or an experience as being worth the high price tag that they've paid for it. And it has a certain something that sets it apart from other cheaper offerings. On his blog experience.we, David Murphy says a premium brand is built upon specific tangible and intangible attributes that give it a sense of worth. Specifically, he says that it is sensual, it arouses our senses, and it feels indulgent. It's an experience. We want to touch it. We enjoy looking at it. It should also be mysterious. It draws us in deeper and it reveals more to us over time. We're intrigued to learn its backstory. And it's rare. It represents a discerning choice, and it's intriguing because it's uncommon. It's confident. It projects a feeling of intrinsic worth. And it's authentic. It knows its true north and it remains committed to this ideal. And finally, there's quality. It's consistent and it shows obsessive attention to detail. And if you want to read more about branding, then I highly recommend you go and take a look at David's blog, which is wikibranding.net. Now, something else that sets a premium brand apart from the also-rans and the cheaper offerings is exclusivity. People will pay extra to have something that few others have. Because it's so expensive, few others can afford it, or perhaps because it's a limited edition and only a certain number of people who know about it or who get there in time can actually have this particular product, and that makes it a premium brand. And it's different. It's associated with something that is expensive or exclusive. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the item itself possesses any of these qualities. It's just packaged in such a way as to make people think it does. Let me give you an example. Now, the car on the left here is a Jaguar, or Jaguar as they pronounce it in the US, X-Type. And the car on the right is a Ford Mondeo. And in some markets, this car was known as a Ford Fusion, and in other markets it was known as a Ford Contour. And these are both cars that date from the turn of the millennium. And they look pretty different, don't they? Because you think they're different brands, you think that they have different market positions, etc., etc. But guess what? They're the same car underneath. They are the exact same car. They might look different. The sheet metal might be different. One might have leather seats and a walnut dash, and the other might have velour seats and a plastic dash. But they're both based on the Ford CDW27 platform, and they both date from the time when Jaguar was owned by Ford. So they share the same floor pan, which serves as a foundation for the chassis and for other structural and mechanical components. They share the same front and rear axles and the distance between them, commonly known as the wheelbase. They share the same steering mechanism and type of power steering. They share the same type of front and rear suspension. And they share the same placement and choice of engine and other powertrain components. So things like the gearbox or transmission, the wiring, all of that, it's all the same on both cars. So what justified the higher price tag of the Jaguar compared with the Ford? Well, Jaguar is a premium brand. It has a long history going back many years for quality. The Jag is better looking, well, in my opinion anyway. And it has lots of little touches that make it a more pleasant driving experience than the Ford Mondeo, which is often driven by sales reps and is generally known as, a fairly down market sort of car, whereas the Jag is more of an exclusive brand. And of course, people were prepared to pay more for the Jaguar because it was not a Ford, or so they thought anyway. But of course, underneath, it was exactly the same. Okay, so how can you apply this to your own situation? Now, let's say that you've got an ebook and it's an information product and you sell it on ClickBank for $9.95. And it's text only and you sell it as a downloadable PDF. So people go to ClickBank, they see your website, they know that your ebook is only $9.95 and they download it onto their computer and read it. Well, what you could do, first of all, is you could add pictures, diagrams, and other graphics to it. You could have it in full color, not just black and white, so you have a full color illustrated book. And then you can convert it into a hardcover printed book with a professionally designed dust jacket. Get testimonials from market leaders and print excerpts from their testimonials on the flaps and on the back cover. You could get someone who's well known in your niche or just well known generally to write the foreword or introduction. And then you could have a limited print run of, say, 1,000 copies. Now, all of a sudden, that bog standard $9.95 ebook is now something that has high value. And you can sell it for, say, $34. And you might sign the first 100 and charge extra for them. But the bulk of the content is exactly the same as the $9.95 ebook. But people are going to be prepared to pay more for it because it's perceived as being a higher value, higher quality product, which it is to a certain extent. And of course, you're ticking all the boxes. It's exclusive, it's expensive, you're giving customers they can't get elsewhere, and it's premium, high-ticket content. It's the Jaguar and not the Ford. Now, one other thing here before I go. The car on the left is the latest Rolls-Royce, the Ghost. The car on the right is a BMW 7 Series. And they share the same platform. But I don't know about you, but I know which one I'd rather have.